Why is it taking so long to get my company into liquidation? Well, the answer is because the simple fact of the matter is it is not a click of the mouse. A liquidation doesn't just simply happen by somebody snapping their fingers, paying a fee, and then going into liquidation. It is a process. There is a whole series of rules, regulations, legislation, statements of insolvency practice, Companies Act, the Insolvency Act. All of this needs to be complied with. Money laundering regulation to identify the client, obtaining source of funds when the liquidator is paid from sources other than the company to put the company into liquidation. All of these rules, regulations, employees, Employment Rights Act, pensions legislation, all of this has to be addressed when placing a company into liquidation because, amongst other things, you are going to have to comply with the Articles of Association to follow the rules of the company's constitution to put the company into liquidation. You are also going to have to treat all the creditors appropriately. And one of the core documents fundamental to placing a company into voluntary liquidation is known as the Statement of Affairs. It is a bit like an up-to-date balance sheet of a company. It's more than that. It is balance sheet, if you like, done on a breakup basis with supplemental information, names and addresses of the creditors, the amounts they're owed, same with the shareholders, details of the assets, liabilities, etc. of the company. All of this needs to be prepared and circulated and presented to the creditors so they have adequate information to understand what is going on when the liquidator is ultimately selected and the process by which the company goes into liquidation is ultimately adjudicated upon by the creditors. Now, what this means is that it cannot be a click of the mouse. It is a process. The process can take 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and in some cases it can take months. And it will only, generally speaking, take long periods of time if there is slow presentation of information to the firm that is essentially doing the statement of affairs, the report, and the financial information to creditors, and so on. One of the things that can potentially slow things down is obtaining information, for example, about employees' amount that they're owed, pension arrangements, and indeed HMRC debts and so on. If there is problems with the company's accountant, this can also slow the process down because the ability to obtain accurate information about who the creditors are and the amounts they're owed. Now, it should be the case from the company's own records in compliance with Section 386 of the Companies Act 2006 that there shouldn't really be any problem with this. But there are many instances when SMEs' records are not up to date and there are problems in this regard which can slow everything down. So it is not that uncommon for a company that going into insolvent liquidation, known as creditors voluntary liquidation, for the process to take some time. But it's certainly not a click of the mouse. Questions, queries, concerns, give us a shout. We know insolvency inside out.